hell was that?
I don't know, but it's a good thing I got those gold bullets made.
Silver bullets, you moron.
Moron? You're the moron. You believe in werewolves.
I know what I saw!
Welcome back to the Out of Touch podcast. I'm Chris. That's Bill, and today we're watching The Wolfman from 1941.
Starring Lon Chaney Jr.
Yes. I don't know any of the actors in this movie because the movie is from like 80 years ago.
To be fair, he's the only one I know because he was a bit of a horror icon like Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff. Plus, he's the son of like the first horror icon, Lon Chaney Sr., the man with 1,000 faces, king of silent movie horror, man made his own makeup and literally died when movies went to sound.
Oh, jeez.
Of throat cancer, I believe.
Oh, man.
Kind of messed up.
Weird.
Also, Lon Chaney has the interesting distinction of having played the Wolfman, the Frankenstein monster, and Dracula.
Oh, weird.
Because he starred as Count Alucard in Son of Dracula.
Okay.
So, I mean, obviously, we know who Alucard is. It's
Yeah.
Dracula, spelled backwards.
That's right.
So, yeah.
But The Wolfman, 1941, I guess like the very first werewolf movie.
No, not even close.
Okay.
Not even Universal's first werewolf movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Then why is this one special then if it's not the very first one?
Because it was better.
It was better. Okay.
I don't know what to tell you. The design, the performance,
Right.
and all the subsequent movies that he appeared in. He appeared in a lot.
Yeah. These old-timey movies are always kind of like very weird to like start. I don't know. It's kind of odd. Like they kind of just like get into it pretty quick sometimes.
This movie is only 70 minutes long with credits.
Yeah.
You gotta move.
Yeah. It also has like a bit of like a weird backstory where like I guess like the main character Larry is returning home to America / Eastern Europe. Vague, weird village. I don't know what's going on.
He's just coming back to his hometown.
Yeah.
Where is it? I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, it's in Pennsylvania. That sounds kind of Eastern European, right? Yeah, like this is very much like, American guy, but then his dad is like British, which very much is the thing back then, and now. But it's kind of funny that, it's like very old world looking,
Yes.
but like everybody's wearing kind of like modern clothing and everything.
And there's cars.
Yeah, there's cars and all that stuff, so it almost seems like it's like this weird village somewhere, but I don't know, he's back to the estate. They mentioned he had a brother that died in a hunting accident.
Doesn't seem to tie into any werewolf activity, but
Yeah.
his brother's dead, and that's brings him home
Yes.
for the first time in apparently 18 years.
Yeah. So,
And he looks through a telescope, and he sees a pretty girl, and he goes to meet the pretty girl, and he buys a mysterious wolf's head cane with a pentagram, and it's made of silver, which is quite fortuitous because there's a werewolf!
Yeah.
Played by Bela Lugosi.
Yes, I noticed that in the movie. I was just like, hey, I know that name. That's Dracula.
Except this time he's a werewolf.
I think it's interesting when you do see, I guess, like, you don't see, like, the full Wolfman until the main character turns into him, but, like, when Bela Lugosi as, like, the fortune teller guy, I guess, turns into a wolf, he just, like, is, like, a straight-up, like, dog-looking wolf.
Yeah, what little we see, he just looks like a giant wolf.
Yeah.
Maybe the implication was that, like, eventually you just become a giant wolf, but at the start you're just a hairy man.
Yeah. It's like the curse evolves.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's got a lot of, like, werewolf aspects that I guess I'm not too familiar with. Like, the whole, like, where you get bit turns into, like, a star mark or a pentagram, which I was like, okay, that must be a thing. And then, like...
Or maybe it's unique to this movie. I don't know.
Or seeing, the pentagram on the person's hand for, like, your next, like, victim. Like, he looks at the one girl, and he's just like, oh, no. Like, the fortune teller, he sees the pentagram on her hand, and he's like, oh, crap.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Hurry. Hurry. Oh, you're too late.
It's interesting, too, because, like, the Wolfman... Is it described as a curse in the movie, or is it just, like, an infliction?
I feel like they say curse.
Yeah, because, like, it is a curse, right?
The pentagram, the sign of the wolf. It can break the evil spell.
But I might also be conflating the other movies that I've seen him in, because he plays this character a lot.
And it has nothing to do with full moon. It's
Well, they say,
kind of
like,
like just at night.
I think they say the full moon, but we never see the full moon in this movie.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But he seems to like turn into it like maybe like 2 days in a row, maybe 3 days in a row, because he first turns into it, and I guess he kills like the gravedigger.
Yeah, yeah. You know, movie. They don't shut up. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's just by moonlight.
Yeah.
Not the full moon, but I think after this it's just the full moon,
Okay.
which gives a very small window for horror.
Yeah. It's like once a month, maybe twice. I don't know.
Depends.
Yeah.
It's like, what's so special about the full moon? Is it just enough moonlight? Like, you know, the 90% moon, it's just a little, not enough, you know, it's just not enough.
He's a reverse werewolf. He only turns into a werewolf when it's very sunny out. Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah. Where he only turns into a werewolf with the tiniest toenail moon. But yeah, it's interesting though, because like the Wolfman, you know, he's like an iconic movie monster.
Oh yeah, his look in this movie it's up there with the Boris Karloff Frankenstein and the Bela Lugosi Dracula. Well, you know, it's not. It hasn't become like the default werewolf, but you hear the phrase Wolfman, you think of this. You think of this guy. Like when they finally remade it in 2010, they modeled the makeup after this, just a little more like vicious.
Yeah, because like he doesn't have like, you know, the full like dog snout or anything.
No.
And
This is why he's a wolf man.
yes, he very much is. I mean, in some ways you could argue like he kind of looks like a monkey man, but you know.
He was bit by a wolf though.
Yeah, he's got the dog nose, so
Yeah.
you know, and
He's got
the
paws.
teeth, and he makes all the dog noises, which I guess were like actual dog noises that they just put over the film.
Of course.
So
Why wouldn't they?
I don't know. It was like the 40s. I don't know if
They
they could
not-
overlay sounds yet onto like the films. I thought they had to do everything in like one take.
No,
Just-
I mean, even then, there would still be a wolf sound effect. Even if they had to play it on a record, they would still play the sound.
Yeah, I guess so. Like I'm just not too sure about the technology back then.
They can overlay sound, Chris.
Okay.
You know that sound you hear?
Yeah.
They overlaid that.
Well, I know they like cut the film with like scissors and shit back then, and
I mean, I edit videos digitally, and I'm astounded by like what these guys were able to pull off back in those days. Because it's like, man, that must have been hard and time consuming.
yeah, because like I know with like other visual effects back then, like not everything, but I know like certain things they would like literally like draw over the film on
Yes,
certain
sometimes.
instances, and
So they had a lot of tricks. You know, we see a little bit briefly at the beginning of this. We got some rear projection.
yeah,
You know, some of the stuff like you find out how they did it. It's like, oh wow, that's amazing.
yeah. So it's very early days, but it's interesting when we first see him like transform, because we kind of just see him from like, you know, the waist down,
Yeah.
like his legs are all hairy.
Yeah, famously in like later movies, we got like the full facial transformation, which was very time consuming. But for this, it was just his feet. It might not even been Lon Chaney's feet. Could have been just anyone's feet.
Yeah. It is kind of funny that, like, you know, to try to mimic, like, the way, like, the dog's legs are, he's, like, kind of walking on his tippy toes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, okay, that works. But, yeah, you know, the Wolfman is interesting because, like, I don't know, it's, like, kind of like just this curse. It turns you into a Wolfman. You lose control of yourself. And I guess it's unclear, does the Wolfman eat people or does he just kill people?
He just seems to maul people. I've never seen anything in these. I think in these days, they couldn't do that anyway because of censorship.
Yeah,
I think maybe in a modern movie they would do that,
yeah.
where it's like going to town on an arm or something like that. But back in these days, not just mauling people indiscriminately.
There's a lot of very much like, you know, implied violence in this movie that you don't see.
That's how it had to be.
Yeah, because like,
It's like, my God, the Wolfman bit this lady's throat out. Did we see it? No, of course
Yeah.
not. Hays Code.
not only that, but like, you know, Larry beats the one wolf to death with like his silver cane.
Yeah, and it's framed where you only see him, and it's behind a tree, and he's just going thwack, thwack, thwack,
Yeah.
thwack.
And the cane does have like a point
Yeah,
into it, so like, you know, it's clearly like stabbing it in the head.
yeah. And when the cops come and they find Bela Lugosi's body, and you're like, oh my God, his skull's been caved in. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's pretty graphic.
It's, an interesting aspect of this movie is how they like frame like the Wolfman thing as just being like, well, like the werewolf is like in the olden days they viewed it as a curse, but like it's actually like this mental sickness maybe that makes people kind of like believe that they're turning into a wolf, but like they're not really, they're just like mentally ill.
I mean, they really almost play it like maybe there is something wrong with him, and then we see him turn into a wolf.
Yeah.
Like, I think I once read that they even actually considered like having it all be in his head.
Okay.
Like, that would have been like, I guess maybe the twist at the end, that he's not actually a wolf man, that it's all just in his head. So there's something to that you could have done, but you wouldn't end up with a famous movie monster that way.
Yeah, because they kind of like frame it in like maybe he accidentally like killed this person, and like to cope with it, he's like, it was a wolf.
Or maybe there was a wolf, but I got confused and I clubbed this guy in the head.
I killed the fortune teller. He didn't see that coming.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. But there's like a bunch of other like, I guess like the fortune teller is part of like a traveling caravan. And like those people kind of have their own like superstitions and stuff.
Yes,
and
yes.
the one lady like kind of knows like what's up. She's just like, oh shit, like he was a werewolf. Like
there's that little proverb people keep repeating.
Yeah.
Even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright.
And she kind of explains to Larry what's going on, and he's like freaking out. She's like, wear this pendant. He's like, leave me alone.
Yeah. Wear this pendant. It's a pentagram. It's not really associated with evil yet, I guess. I don't even know.
I don't know. Maybe this is why it's associated with evil.
Yeah.
It all just comes from movies. It's all made up.
I'm not sure where that symbol comes from, so.
Somebody drew something once.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, you know what? What? I think we should say that's evil. Why?
Yeah,
Why
devil
not?
Stuff.
Why not? Let's just say it's evil. Okay. Why?
It's fine. Yeah, it's interesting, like, kind of like the escalation of the movie where, like, we get the townspeople with their torches.
Of course.
Their dogs and stuff. It's like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
The werewolf kind of just lurking around, I don't know. He's kind of, like, weird as the werewolf.
He's just an animal. He's feral, basically. He's not really looking for anything. He just sees something and he attacks it. But he has no aim, no goal.
Yeah, he's not really, like, tragic like Frankenstein or anything.
I mean, it's tragic when he's Larry,
but
not the Wolfman.
Yeah, but when he's the Wolfman, like you said, he's just, like, a mindless animal.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, shit. I don't know. The movie's very different than what I thought it would be. I don't know what I was thinking what a werewolf, movie from the 1940s would be, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, it fits tonally alongside, like, Dracula and Frankenstein a bit. Because it's got that gothic-ish atmosphere to it to a degree.
Yeah.
It's very old, like you said, old world looking, even though it's
modern day.
Probably set in America.
Yeah. It's just like this weird Eastern European town.
It's very much the 40s because they got 1940s cars.
Yeah.
Though I think that gets a little confused in later movies where there's where suddenly there's like no cars and there's just horse and buggies. But it's all very confusing.
Yeah.
But eventually he finds himself in the 50s.
I guess so.
Though the Wolfman is kind of unique in the old Universal monster movies because it's the only one, really, that didn't get its own sequel.
Huh.
The next movie for this character is Frankenstein meets the Wolfman.
That's interesting because, like, they kind of, in some ways, sort of set it up for a sequel because, the movie kind of, like, ends with, like, they're hunting the Wolfman. And, I mean, I guess one thing that's kind of something that came from this movie is, like, the father straps his son to, like, this chair and is just like, you're not going to move from here. This is going to prove that you're just, like, sick. He says, like, Dad, take my cane with you just in case because it's silver and you could kill me if I turn into a werewolf.
Which he does.
Yeah. And it almost seems like in some ways where it's just like, oh, shit, like, the dad killed the son. Maybe the dad got bitten by the son before, he died. It's just like, oh, the cycle continues or something.
Possibly, but...
Yeah.
No, what happens is, I think somebody dug up Larry's grave and he got hit by moonlight and alive.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess with werewolf lore, silver kills werewolves.
Usually, yeah.
I don't know if anything else does, but...
fire and lots of it, maybe?
Yeah, fire.
Well, they kind of add this notion that, like, even as, like, a person, he can, like, heal.
Yeah.
Like, because he got bit by the wolf, and it's just like, oh, where'd it go?
Yeah, they also imply that they like shot him like point blank at one point.
Yeah.
And he like, like recovered pretty fast.
Got some Wolverine in him.
Yeah. It's like the ultimate power. But you lose your mind to get it.
It's funny that you bring up the son biting the father. Spoilers from the 2010 version. The werewolf that bites Larry in that version turns out to be his father.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they have a werewolf fight.
Sounds pretty badass.
Anytime Larry becomes the Wolfman in that movie, the movie's awesome. Anytime Larry's not the Wolfman, the movie fucking sucks.
Really?
Because it's that Benicio del Toro guy.
Oh, right.
And he kind of sucks. And he's completely miscast as a British man.
I mean, he's definitely not British.
No, he does not. He does not work in that movie. Because especially when you got Hannibal Lecter as the father.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of badass. But...
Like I said, anytime he's the Wolfman, that movie was awesome.
Okay.
But I thought it had a miscast lead. If that movie had a different guy as the Wolfman, it'd probably be kind of well regarded.
Interesting.
Just because of how fun the werewolf stuff was. Because he's like in London, jumping around on rooftops and chasing people and stuff. It looked cool. It was mostly directed by Joe Johnson.
Okay.
I think there was some behind the scenes problems.
Oh, man. Shenanigans.
Yeah, I think the original director got fired or something. I don't know.
Yeah, all I really remember about when that movie came out was like, people were kind of like touting, like, look how good like the werewolf looks.
The werewolf did look good.
Yeah.
It was a great update of the classic design. Can't really say that about this new upcoming remake based on what we saw at Universal's Halloween Horror Night.
The Goblin Man.
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
I mean, I can't completely judge it because it's the Halloween Horror Night version of the design, but the design looks stupid.
Yeah, I mean, the new werewolf movie that you showed me, it's being made by Blumhouse.
I showed you the trailer first.
Yeah.
What was your initial thoughts of the trailer before I showed you that?
I mean, I guess it kind of just seemed like it was like kind of like, oh, okay, so they're just doing like the Wolfman movie kind of like in a modern, hey, look, it's like a family and they're going somewhere.
They're in a cabin in the woods, so
Yeah.
there's no other people around.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay any extras.
It seems very much in the frame of like a lot of other like horror movie trailers I've seen, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, yeah, okay, like I kind of know what's happening with this movie, but it's like, hey, it's Wolfman. It's not like something like new and weird. It's like something classic, but with a new take. So, knowing Blumhouse movies, I mean, I can't imagine. Maybe it's one of those things where you barely see the Wolfman.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would hope with that look.
Because they have a reputation of like, and it's actually a good reputation. They make things like fairly budget, but like they're still like pretty good movies.
Guess when this movie comes out?
Does it come out in January?
Comes out in January.
Oh. I don't know if that applies still, but
I mean, I don't know. When was the last time a good movie came out in January?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I can't think of any.
January's still a dump month, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if you're remaking a classic horror movie, you drop that bad boy in October.
Yeah, you think they would have that ready for October?
Maybe it is ready, and they're like, "Oh no!"
What do you mean people don't like Goblin Wolfman? He's great. Look at him dance.
We're not changing anything, so we're just gonna dump it.
Yeah, I guess it could be worse though. Like they could like do like some like insane CGI abomination wolf that is just like, oh no, it's like too much.
Maybe.
But who knows? I mean, werewolves have been in a lot of media. Sometimes they're just like dogs.
Yeah, I don't like the ones that are just giant dogs.
Yeah.
I think that's lame. That's kind of why I like the classic one, because it's like, it's a wolf man.
Yeah.
So he looks half man, half wolf. Hence the name Wolfman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I understand maybe wanting to give it a much more canine-like face, but I think this is like a kind of a good balance, especially in the 2010 version, between full-on dog head and something that still looks recognizably human.
Yeah. I'm thinking now, a lot of these classic monsters usually have a cereal. Does the Wolfman have a cereal?
I want to say maybe.
Because, I know, Dracula's got a cereal Frankenstein, I guess, kind of has a cereal with Blueberry, and I'm like, what's the Wolfman cereal? Because I'm like, it's not Cookie Crisp, or is it Cookie Crisp? Is that a werewolf?
Sure, let's go with that. Well, I think there might be. Because, okay, Frankenstein's got Frankenberry.
Yeah.
There's Blueberry for all ghosts. I think there might have been a werewolf one. So now I'm going to just do a quick little Google.
Okay.
Fruit Brute. It's got a werewolf on it.
Weird.
I've never heard of that.
No.
Yummy Mummy. Never heard of that one either. Who the hell is Carmela Creeper? What the hell's going on?
Too many.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, there was a werewolf cereal at some point, apparently.
Okay. So weird.
Maybe it should just be Cookie Crisp.
Yeah. He kind of howls, you know. I guess most dogs howl.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's a canine. It's close.
yeah. We get the werewolf howling a little bit in this movie.
Yes,
But
yes.
it's kind of a weird, like, the love story aspect of the movie where, like, the girl's like,
Being stalked.
yeah, she's like, I'm not interested in you. You're
Leave me
like,
alone.
you're creepy. Like, how do you know, like, I have these earrings? And he's like, well, actually, doll, I was spying on you with this glass. And it's just like,
That's not
say
helping.
what?
You're not helping your case there, Larry.
Yeah. She's like, I'm engaged, just to let you know. And he's just like, are you sure about that? It's like, God damn it, 1940s. Like,
See how she had a friend with her just in case, but then she got her friend killed because of it?
yeah. It's like, come on. But, yeah, that's kind of like a strange aspect of the movie where it's just like, I don't know. I guess we're supposed to think it's like tragic, but at the same time, it's just like, dude, you never had a chance with this girl. She's already got somebody, man. Like, kind of
She
weird.
seemed kind of into him at some points.
Yeah, definitely. But
I mean, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
He's dead. Well, for now. He's
Yeah.
dead for now until he gets woken up to fight Frankenstein.
he gets reincarnated.
And then it's another monster mash with Dracula.
Okay.
And then another one with Dracula and Frankenstein, obviously. And then they all chase Abbott and Costello up.
Well, I guess this kind of started the whole vampires versus werewolves thing.
Eventually,
Yeah,
when they got to, because they don't really intersect the monsters in House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula, I don't think. But Wolfman and Dracula do scuffle in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
yeah. And then, like, you know, stuff like What We Do in the Shadows with, like, the vampires versus the werewolves, and then they have a fight on the rooftop, and the one has the chew toy and throws it off the roof, and the werewolf follows it off the roof and just splats on the ground, which is great. It's a pretty good show. But,
I'll say this: I enjoy these old Universal horror movies. They're great, just little fodder for Halloween. Just kind of fun to put on. Some of them are pretty good. This one's okay. It's not as good as Frankenstein and Dracula,
yeah,
but it's got some great, just sort of atmosphere. It's a classic monster. Give it a whirl if you like werewolves. See where it all began, except not really, because there was werewolf movies before this. But this is the one.
yeah, I guess so.
It's like the measuring stick, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, this is the guy. Shit, man. This is the guy that, like, the Hulk is kind of ripping off. He's just like, oh, this curse, this thing inside me.
yeah. And, you know, the werewolf costume looks very good, you know? It is kind of funny when, like, you know, he kind of transforms into the werewolf, but then, like, you know, he's wearing very different clothes. Like,
I mean, he's in it like a wife beater tank top,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, and he's already turned into the werewolf.
yeah.
But the werewolf had the wherewithal to put a shirt on.
Yeah, he's wearing, like, a dark button down. I don't know what color it is. I mean,
Let's just say black or dark blue.
Yeah, and, you know, sometimes they show, like, werewolves, like,
Sometimes
wearing, like, a plaid shirt or something.
I think sometimes in some of the painted pictures, they make it like a dark green. I don't know. It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Yeah.
Either way, it's like, so the Wolfman can dress himself?
It's just like, I'm not going to go out without a shirt with buttons. Okay, now...
Perish the thought. It's the 40s.
Yeah,
If I could fit it on my head, I'd be wearing my hat.
seriously. A lot of hats in this movie.
It's the style at the time.
People are very well dressed in this movie most of the time.
That's how people dressed, man.
Yeah,
Not slobs.
they had class.
They
But-
were a lot of layers and were hot and sweaty. Disgusting,
Well, it was colder back then.
I suppose.
Yeah. Plus, everybody smokes, so I think I can only assume you don't feel as much as when you're smoking all the time. So,
Hard to say.
yeah. But anyway, I guess that's the Out of Touch podcast for this week. Go watch The Wolfman from 1941.
And beware the full moon, for bad shit'll happen. I don't remember the poem.
No, it's no use.